We're going to go back to the 40K stuff for a minute, because there's some new details on the Amazon show that I want to go over. And this, if true, would confirm a lot of the suspicions that we all had. And that's, of course, that Amazon pushed this. There was a rumor that was published over on Reddit talking about how Amazon wanted these changes. They actually wanted female space marines. Games Workshop would not bend the knee on that, but they did compromise on the Custodes. And because of that, well, you know the story. They went and said, oh, no, they've always existed since the first 10,000, and you're wrong. Even though there's a bunch of evidence that that's not the case, the whole situation was handled very poorly, and it has pissed off a lot of people. And then, of course, all of the games media jumped in. Here's Gizmodo, Warhammer 40K's new culture war. Crossfire is a mess of its own making. The toxic fan base and grifters are out here. Because, of course, nobody is actually mad about this. It's just toxic people and grifters. Not people passionate about their hobby. This is why nobody likes games journalism. And that's what this site, Gizmodo, is. It's a bunch of games journalists. They just don't talk about games. They talk about a lot of other stuff, too. So here is what's going on. So that Park Place did a summary of this video from Archcast, the Archcast. There's his channel. And he put a whole video down talking about a lot of the stuff, but what I want to focus on is the Henry Cavill stuff. Because I've been curious to know how Henry Cavill feels about this and what he plans on doing. And it sounds like, at least according to Arch's insider, that he's mad. Not only is he mad, there's not really anything he can do about it, because it's speculated here that even if he doesn't like it, he is probably contractually obligated to still be a part of this show. And if that's true, I got to say, man, do I feel bad for Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill, 20 years ago, if he was born at a point where he could have came in to the 90s and early 2000s as a celebrity Hollywood movie star, like, he would have risen to the top, because he would have came in right as Arnold was leaving, and he really could have taken up that torch. There was still a time there where shit like that could have happened. But unfortunately, because of the day that we live in, because of the age that we live in now, with the way Hollywood is and how it's woke, like, someone like Henry Cavill just isn't going to get picked up. And it's just wild to see, like, the kind of people that they prop up instead of him. But he gets screwed over on a lot of shit. The Witcher was a disaster for him. He went in there with good intentions. He's a big Witcher fan, and they screwed him over. And now, if all of this is true, he's going over to this show, and they're going to screw him over on this one as well. So it's an unfortunate situation. But here's what he said in the video. Following this portion of the rumor, Arch turned his attention to what a source told him about Cavill's reaction. He stated, "As for Henry Cavill, I've also heard something related to him, namely that he is quite upset about this change. He is pissed at it, but he is not going to walk. Bearing in mind that we don't even know if it is possible for him to walk at this point, as his introduction and, co-starring and producing in this was one of the earliest fundamental piece of news about the Amazon Games Workshop TV show he added. For all we know, it could be bound hand and foot by contractual obligation and penalties at this point. Alternatively, again, well, it's an Amazon paycheck. I'm not entirely sure I would be willing to turn that down, much less somebody who is an actual actor, and this is being his job. I wouldn't be surprised if he is indeed quite upset about this, because this is also his main faction, the Custodes. So, yeah, I believe this. I actually think all of this is true. Keep in mind, that's an opinion. all of that Reddit leak rumor that was posted, I do think that that's true because it's what makes the most sense. Amazon, even in this article from the source that Arch has, talks about Games Workshop knew there would be backlash, and Amazon showed them the backlash to Lord of the Rings and Wheel of Time. And was like, oh, it'll go away. It won't be a big deal. It won't hurt you. And it did. See, unlike Lord of the Rings and Wheel of Time, I don't know about Wheel of Time, but the show for Games Workshop is supplemental. Their main source of revenue comes from buying all that shit that they put out. And it's a little bit different in their case. Like Lord of the Rings, what's new out for Lord of the Rings right now? I mean, they're not tied to a tabletop game. Everything that comes away from the books is supplemental for Tolkien's estate. Games Workshop needs those figures to sell. And if this show damages it to those figures not selling, then this is going to blow up in their face. Big time. I do believe these rumors. I think they're true. I think Amazon pushed for this change, and I think Games Workshop bent the knee, and now Henry Cavill is caught in the crossfire. He still has, as far as I know, some creative control over the show. So the show isn't necessarily screwed, but you're for sure going to see women in those power suits. I promise you, you're going to see them. That's the reason that this has been changed. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about all this. I'd like to hear from you in the comments. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free. But if you are a supporter over here, I do plan on doing an extra live stream once a month and throwing links to the supporters so you can actually come on and have a supporter live stream with me. Also, it's a good place to catch all of my content. You don't have to worry about notifications like YouTube. They'll definitely work over here. So come check out my locals.